It's me, Andres. just here with another video. Yeah, I don't know what that intro was. Anyways, guys, today is been a very exciting day for KSI versus Jake Paul. So, I decided to make a defense of why isn't KSI gonna box Jake, and is he scared? View a defense of KSI, but then also my own opinion, and I'm defending him, sorta. So please watch the whole video. I'm gonna give you guys a timeline of why this whole thing of KSI and the whole timeline. So KSI fought Logan Paul. He won. We know this. In the interview afterwards, KSI said, "I'm on to the next thing," and by that he means he was done boxing. KSI's original plan was to fight Jake in August of 2018, and then fight Logan in America, and then be done and move on to the next thing. But it was very clear to me that KSI was kind of ready to move on from boxing. It's not because he doesn't love it. It's because he doesn't like being seen as just a boxer or just a musician or just an actor. He said in various interviews and clips, and people know this, is that he doesn't like to be put in one particular box, and he likes to move from one thing to the next thing. So in January, Gib fought him, and KSI said, if Gib doesn't beat Jake, then I will fight Jake. So, if you guys know, in February, there's various clips of Jake having interviews saying our teams are talking, and they were in active development about getting this fight done. So, in March of 2020, KSI did an interview while he was at a music event or whatever, and he confirmed that he was not boxing in 2020. So the fight was never going to happen last year. And then obviously everything shut down and there was the pandemic. And as you guys know, March, April, and May were completely booked off. There was no boxing fights. There was no nothing. Those 3 months was the first lockdown, the one that everything was closed off. And KSI had stuff to do. Like, he was uploading videos every single day. He was releasing his music videos and also filming some of his music videos, and he put out his album, and as you guys know, he did a ton of press for that and called out Jake, and then Jake gave the fake contract. But then we learned that Eddie Hearn, who was promoting DAZN, said that this fight was on the back burner. So clearly, KSI v Jake was not something that was to happen immediately. Now, my biggest question was, did Jake offer to fight KSI on the Mike Tyson undercard? Did he come with a proposed deal to KSI to say, hey, let's fight on the undercard with Mike Tyson? From what I know from the story and from the videos is that Nate called out Jake, and Jake got offered to fight on the card, and Jake decided to pick Nate. Now, maybe that's because they already had deals in the works, and it's not really a co-main event, and obviously both want to get the money that they wanted and all that stuff. But I would be interested to see if he actually offered KSI to fight on the undercard. Things started to open back up in the UK and the US because Jake was fighting Nate. Obviously, they weren't going to fight in 2020. Is that KSI is not afraid of Jake. It's that the fact is that he is focused on making music. His priorities are not fighting, and they're not fighting Jake. It's not boxing. It's music. To put it in layman's terms, KSI does not want to be doing boxing now. He doesn't want to be fighting right now, and he wanted to focus on music in 2020. And that was always the plan. And there was an article that his manager put out that stated that if COVID hadn't happened, the album would have come out, KSI would have done festivals in the summer, and then in the fall and the winter, he was going to tour. So before Gib lost to Jake, these plans were already in motion. These plans were already taking place. KSI and Jake, and this is, I'm actually going to put this clip in here, but this is Mike Malak talking about the fight.
What I know / think I know that a lot of people in the general public don't know is that fight comes down to money. KSI and Logan Paul received a massive bag off of Logan Paul KSI fight 1 and 2. I'm not going to disclose what that bag looked like, but it was large, okay? Now, I'm going to say something that may upset some people here. Jake Paul, while he may be potentially the better fighter of the two Paul brothers, does not command the audience or cultural relevance that his older brother does. He does not move the needle. in the same way that Logan Paul does. A Logan Paul fight makes global headlines. And so what is happening, I believe, is that the bag that KSI is demanding from Jake Paul is not being received well by the people putting on the fight. And so KSI is used to getting a pretty large sum of money for this fight, and I don't know that he would get that from a KSI versus Jake Paul fight.
And KSI wants it at the O2 Arena. He wants it in the UK. He wants a crowd. But obviously that can't happen in pandemic time. The thing is I know KSI is still training from this club here.
To start training. And that would very much worry me going in that fight if Jake is doing it.
It should.
I mean, so Jake is he still regularly training?
Training right now.
See, so that's what worries me. Amir, what would you think about that? I mean, if KSI's got is he training that? I know you don't keep regular touch with him, but
I actually spoke with Vidal yesterday, and yeah, they're training consistently.
Oh, are they? Okay,
they are, and there's a plan on how to make this fight happen, and I think the plan is great, and I think Vidal has a good grasp on it, so the fight's going to happen.
In KSI, Vidal, they always have a plan. These are not dumb people. They know what they are doing. They have done this multiple times, and trust me, they said they have a plan. They're training. That's all I need to hear. Think KSI cannot pick and choose when he gets to go in and out of boxing. Because KSI is somebody that did boxing for a year, took a year off, was still training, but not fighting, and then he fought Logan Paul, and now he takes off another year. He can't do that because I feel like he learns slower, and he's not as quick to learn stuff and isn't naturally gifted as Jake is. The skill level is slowly going like this between Jake and KSI. Jake has 2 more fights before KSI. That's concerning because, if your opponent is actively fighting and actively training and doing stuff, and the flaws that KSI sees now are going to be non-existent when they fight, and if he loses, it is his fault, because I know he wants to focus on music, but I feel like if you're boxing somebody, he should have just gotten it over with and moved on. That kind of leads us to what happened today, where KSI said, I only have a pro boxing license in the US, and I can't fight in the UK. And so basically what he means is that people like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury can continue to train and get sparring and do that and that's because they have a pro boxing license, and because they have that license, the government sees that as their job, and so that's essential, so they can continue it. But because KSI doesn't have that, he cannot, rent out a private gym or go train somewhere in the UK, because that would be illegal and he would get arrested. Now, Jake said you can get a pro boxing license anywhere and all that stuff, but you have to get a physical and you have to meet with people, and I don't know if the UK is doing that, because the UK is on a full lockdown until the beginning of March. So I don't know how JJ would be able to do that. And the argument is, oh, well, he's a multimillionaire, he can do whatever. If he really wanted to, he could. But to be honest, I don't know how boxing licenses work, and it's very complex. I'm assuming this is Jake posted on his story, you can train at this gym. But first of all, post was done in October 2020 when COVID was not as bad in the UK. Secondly, that gym is mainly for beginners. It's not made for people like KSI, and you can't spar or do pads in there. So at that point, it's like anything that KSI can do at that gym, he can do in his house. And many people have the misconception that KSI has a gym in his house. He lives in an apartment building, and you're thinking of the old Sideman house that they moved out of 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. So he doesn't have a private gym or a gym in his apartment that is done for boxing. Because yeah, it's great to continue to get in shape, but if you can't spar people, if you can't do pads, if you can't go 100% and have a proper camp, it's gonna be a disadvantage for you. Because if KSI says, oh, okay, I'll fight you in July, but get only 3 months of an actual camp, that's not going to work out. And KSI said he wants to be committed, and he wants a full camp, and he wants to have everything set up so he can train properly, which makes complete sense. And obviously, where Jake trains in Miami and Florida, they don't have any restrictions, so he's living in this little bubble that's basically oh, well, you can do anything you want. And if I were him, I would fight somebody over the summer and then fight Jake at the end of the year. KSI v Jake Paul needs to happen this year. You know what I mean? Like, I think that this fight needs to happen this year. And if it doesn't, I don't think it should happen. And Jake had a huge mansion with a huge gym, and his boxing coach, Yasmin Flores, lived with him. And he was able to train in Vegas where things were less restrictive than they were in the UK. And he's gone to Miami, Florida, which has no restrictions. So you see the huge advantage Jake is at and the huge disadvantage KSI is at. So that's my defense of KSI. Like, sub, and comment. At the end of the day, I don't think he's ducking him, but he needs to go back into the ring and have a fight before Jake and fight him in December of 2021. He needs to put the music on the backbender, and I just that to me is what he needs to do. I think if you listen to me and you don't watch 10 minutes of this video and just be like, oh, screw you, like, listen to what I'm saying and think about it. Think logically, not with your emotions. Because I had to think about this logically, and I had to be a realist on it. So yeah, peace.